Hello, everyone. Father Jared coming to you. You know, a lot of things are changing, have been adjusting, and things are different than they were a few months ago, as many people have noted. And, that's the nature of Beacons, and that's what so many people around the Archdiocese and really what we experience so often through our lives. And just want to speak to that, I think in the midst of this, just know that it's okay that it's hard. It's okay that it's difficult for us to understand and sympathize, to sympathize with what's going on. There's a whole host of reasons, and everybody has different reasons for why it's hard. And so that's part of being an individual, and that's part of being individual. That's part of something bigger, is that everything affects each of us in different ways, and that's normal. That's okay, and that's all part of the process. And so just what I want to kind of speak to in that is just for you to know that it's not always going to be this way, that it's not always going to, I guess when I say that, I mean it's not always going to feel like this. Like anytime in the midst of transition, as we go through big things in our life, oftentimes the first year is the hardest. So just note that we're in the midst of a year of great upheaval, transition, and things are much, much different. Talking to a lot of married couples that after they got married and started living with each other, that first year of marriage was really tough because, you're trying to figure each other out, the ins, the outs, you're married now, what's that all about? All those kind of things, it's really hard. And I think in the same way, as we try to bring together these family of parishes, it's important for us to remember, it's not always going to be this way. We're still trying to figure it all out. We're still trying to figure each other out and understand one another better. And so just remember that that's part of it. That is part of the process, that we each come at this in different ways, but we're all, as I can see, all want to be united around the Lord, and we all want what's best, and we all want to be better than we currently are. That's so true. I've seen it in so many people's hearts that they want what's best for their family, they want what's best for themselves, they want what's best for the Lord. And so just know that I see that. Know that I see your desire for something better, and that we all have a part to play in that, and that that each and every one of you is valued. And also just on the other hand, also understand this isn't easy for me, this isn't easy for any priest at this time, whether here in this family of parishes in Northwest 7 or any other family of parishes. It's not easy for priest, and I think actually that's one of those things that, reflecting on this, is it's hard. It's hard for me to understand how hard it is for people, because in part, part of my life has always been change. And that's not to say that I shouldn't try to understand where you're at, so please don't understand this to me that I think I have it right. Just to say that I think I often forget that, transition, adjustment is difficult for so many people, because I myself am so used to that being the norm of my life. As a seminarian, every single year had to move in and out of a room, change seminary halfway through seminary, and then, had a different parish assigned to each summer, and just on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So many different things that were just difficult in the midst of that transition within our lives. In my life, and whenever I became a priest, it was only at my first assignment for a couple of years. Then as a pastor, it was only, at Holy Angels for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it changed. And so, it's one of those parts of my life that's just kind of built in, baked in. And I think that in many ways it's something that I forget. I forget that that's not the norm for a lot of people. And so just want to say, sorry if there's any way in which, it seems like I've been neglectful of that fact that it is hard. But then also to say, it's okay. And from my own experience of that kind of, that transition, that adjustment within my own life, is it always ends up in one way or another being better, not because objectively it's necessarily always better, but at least in the sense that the Lord's always provided for me, and He's always taught me something new, and He's brought me to a greater level of understanding of Him, a greater sense of the knowledge of His love for me, and also a new way of looking at situations. And so I think there's going to be a lot of good that comes from this. Like, what are all those good things? Well, I think I've detailed before what those are, but I think what they're going to be for each of us, just like why it's hard for each of us, are going to be different. You know, the benefits, you know, for you could be, you know, that you gain a greater sense of what it means to be Catholic, or that, you know, you began to kind of open yourself to people from other parishes and to begin to converse with them and to try and grow in faith with them. And that was a really good experience. Or getting to experience different personalities as a priest has allowed you to see that the priesthood's not just one-dimensional, or, you know, whatever. So many other things that we could say. But in the end, like, why could it be better? Well, those things are things that we will work out over time. But I just want to say that, like, you know, getting through this time is going to be the most difficult. And it's okay for it to be difficult. It's okay for it to be hard, and it's okay to struggle. That is part of the it's part of the gospel, taking up our cross and following Him. And sometimes crosses like this are the ones we don't look for, we don't want, but the Lord puts them in their path. And I think that by carrying those crosses, a lot of good can come for each of us. So much good. And I do see each of your desires to try to give yourself over this process, to see the Lord in it, and to come to know Him better, and to come to better understand your neighbor, to come to better understand your priest, and know that I'm also trying to do my best to get to know all of you. And that your priests are all trying their best to get to know all of you too, and to understand you better, and to help you. Like, we want to help you to get to heaven. We want to help you to be saints. We want to help you to be, you know, what the Lord is calling you to be. That's what we want. Each and every one of us. And so just, so just an encouragement for some mutual mercy on both ends. And just know that, each and every one of you is deeply valued, and just getting to know so many different people is always a gift. And so each and every individual is a unique gift. And so just know of those continued thoughts, prayers for each and every one of you. And please pray for me and pray for all of your priests. And with that, I hope you all have a good week, and God bless.